Hi, Angela Wolf here. Today I want to show you how to thread Brother's top cover stitch machine. I'm going to thread this with different colors just so we can see what's going to happen with each different needle, the looper, the top threader, all that good stuff. Make sure your machine is turned off. And the other thing you want to check is there's a line right here on the side, and there's also a coordinating line on the wheel. Find that line and turn the hand wheel counterclockwise until both of these line up. We're going to start with the far left. This is the lower looper. Bring this up, and you'll see on here there's a number 1 and a number 2. So go around number 1 and then wrap the thread up and around number 2. Come back down, go through the eye right here, and then through this clip. It should just clip right in. Down through the tension disc, and if you haven't already opened the front cover, open the front cover. So bring the thread down. You're going to go through the first area here, around this little spring, and to get into this area, just take your thread, wrap it around like that. Then you're going to take your thread and run it through that hole here, up and around this loop. The next area the thread needs to go, you can see on this illustration. And this section is way in here, which is impossible to get into. So they've given us this nice knob. Push in on this and flip it open. That's all you got to do. Goes right back into place, so push in and open. Glide your thread right through this notch, up and through that eye, and then through the eye at the end. And this will just go into the, lay that to the back of the machine. Push in on this knob and pull back. Glide the thread through this first notch. Behind through here, and then through the eye at the end. I like to keep my finger on this loop to make sure it doesn't get wrapped around anything. And then just slide that thread to the back. And push this back into place. Regardless if you're using the top cover hem or not, the next thing you're going to do is thread the needles. You have 3 options. You can thread all 3 for a triple cover stitch, the 2 out inside and outside for a wide cover stitch, or these 2 here for a narrow cover stitch. I'm going to go ahead and thread all 3. Take the thread up, and on this side there's the number 1 and there's the number 2. So just wrap this around, then back down, clip it into place, and then through the tension. I can see the coloring. I'm just going to follow the color coding. Go all the way around, and I can follow the color, and it's going to go to the right side of this piece of metal here. While I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and bring each one of these threads up. And clip this one into place. And the left needle. Around 1 and then 2. Clip into place. So now what I have here, I have the yellow, and I can just follow the color coding, go up and around. It shows me that the yellow is going to go to the left side of this piece of metal. The pink goes up and around to the right side of the piece of metal. And I've already brought the orange through here. This is why I use the 3 different colors, so you can see what's happening. So if you look closely, there's a little metal piece here that moves. It moves on either side. So for the far left needle, I'm just going to pop that into place, just like that. And then we're going to thread it into the left needle. This is definitely where the tweezers come in handy. Just slide that in. And out. So the second color, the middle, is going to pop in on this side. There you go. That's in that area right here. The far right needle will be right in between here. So they're both ready to go. If the top needle threader is in your way when you're trying to thread your needle, you can remove this easily by popping this out. It slides out, this casing does, and there's a clamp back here that you just push and it comes undone. So for each of these threads, after it goes behind here, it needs to go back behind this metal bar. This is very important. Again, I'll slide both of these behind this bar. What this will do is this will keep the thread back if you're using the top cover hem. It'll keep your thread safe from getting caught. Again, make sure that your thread is behind this bar. So the machine is all threaded, let's go ahead and stitch. So before we thread the top cover hem, we're going to close the cover and run the stitch and make sure that the cover stitch is working. Go ahead and plug in the machine and turn it on. So go ahead and lift up the presser foot and just place your fabric underneath. Put the hand wheel down a couple times just to make sure. I like to just make sure that nothing's catching the needles. If a needle's bent or something, that will make a big difference right here. And it looks like the stitching looks pretty good. Great. It's very important to run a few stitches with just the cover stitch before you add the top thread. To get started, turn the machine off. Again, look at this line here and turn your hand wheel counterclockwise until this line matches up with this line. So the first thing we want to do is reattach the top cover stitch. You can see there's a little groove right here. That's what your thread is going to go through. And up here is a clamp. This is going to clamp on to the back of your presser foot, as you will see. So guide this and it'll clamp right into place. Let me show you a different angle. Here's the back angle from the back of the machine so you can see. What I'm clamping it on is this little section right here. And it just snaps into place. So this is from the back side, to give you a little bit of a different angle. And here's one more angle to give you a little better look. Here's the front. This is going to go in front of the needles. Slide this back and it just snaps right into place. Make sure it's nice and tight. The next thing you have is this plastic shield. This area here is going to glide right into here. And you'll see there's this little thumb. See how I can push that in? Go ahead and just slide this into place. It pops out easily. and it goes back into place. And you'll hear it snap. All right, let's thread this. So this will be the second one from the end, or the fourth from this side. You thread and go up. Again, you'll see the numbers 1 and 2, up and around, then back down through this eye right here, and around, and it should just snap right into place. Down through the tension and under. There you go. And then when we get to this area, we're not going to go through this. Instead, you'll see a little hole right there. Put the thread through there. Similar to these notches over here for the needles, you're going to wrap your thread behind this. It'll pop into place, and then right through this right here. Take this down through here. Make sure your presser foot is up. And you're going to thread so it goes right into that lever and then down underneath the presser foot, just like that. Out here, if your threads here are not from your needles, behind this metal bar here, this section, when it moves, can catch that thread and it'll make a big mess. My presser foot up, wrap that around and slide this under towards the back. Go ahead and do a couple stitches just to make sure that your thread is catching. Looks like it is. And go ahead and stitch. I'm going to get this extra thread out of the way. So there's the right side. That looks great. See the back side. And the back side looks great as well. And that's how easy it is to thread the top cover stitch machine. I know at first it's a little intimidating with all these extra parts, but after you do it a couple times, it'll be a breeze. Again, I'm Angela Wolf. For more sewing tips and tutorials, be sure to visit angelawolf.com and brothersews.com. Until next time, happy sewing.